All right, yeah. Learning orchestrates vital evolution. By any
In
other
that order.
name, the aggressive pursuit of improvement. LOVE, learning orchestrates vital evolution. The aggressive pursuit of improvement. With that being said, the quantum mechanics is back on duty. We back performing maintenance like usual.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, when we speaking on evolution, or we speaking on anything in general, when we say what is and what isn't, right? I see a lot of times people talk about like God and, you know, or at least their particular definition of God and this, that, and the third. You can't, it's not a right or a wrong to it. It's, you know, where they at with it, right? So we say, but God is there, but now the creator, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a creator, I'm a creator. Everybody's a creator. God is what it is, but man and woman, male and female, masculine and feminine come together and create life.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But while you here, you have to create as well, right? So you have to take your masculine and feminine principles and create, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so I'll just use a simple thing and I'll say, with my masculine energy, it's my math and science, all of the essential tools I grab and I gather to create, to use, to build, right? Then I use my etherical or spiritual elements, which is intuition, imagination, you know, my intellect, things of that nature. I use those things to create to pull information from the ethos, right?
Right.
And we combine those two to create our realities or
Mm-hmm.
how we create the world we live in, right?
Right.
We use the physical, math and science, and we use the etherical, intellect, intuition, and imagination, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we combine those, which would be your masculine and feminine principles are, your masculine and physical, your masculine and feminine principles, and you create the reality or the world that you live in, right? So when we do that, because that's third dimensional. When I speaking on third dimensional, I say what's third dimensional? That means anything that I can give you physically, spiritually, and mentally, right? If I can give it, if I can give it to you in all three of those forms, to me it's real, right? So I just gave you that in all three forms. Physical form, male and female copulate, create a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's creation. Mentally, with intellect, intuition, and imagination, I can create my reality, right? And spiritually, I take both of those two together, those two elements, and I create my destiny or what's before me, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when we get into creating these worlds, we can talk on a physical level, we can talk on a mental level, and we can talk on a spiritual level. But when we create in worlds, how do we define what a world is and creating a world? And then we're going to go down the mental, the physical, and the spiritual aspects of creating worlds. So hit the science, brother.
Dig it for sure. So on the definition side, we got the word create. To cause, to come into being as something unique that would not naturally evolve or that is not made by ordering process. To evolve from one's own thought or imagination. And then right next to that, I put thought forms.
Mm-hmm.
And continuing that as a work of art or invention. To perform a role make by investing with new rank or designating, constitute, or appoint to. create, appear, or entity. So that's the definition for create. Then I had to find out, what a world is. The world, Earth, or any part of it with its inhabitants, affairs, etc., during a particular period. And then I was like, okay, that's talking about like the ancient world or worlds that you would have to look at with a different perspective.
Right.
And then it continues, it says any sphere, realm, or domain, all that pertains of it.
Right.
And then next to that, I put dream worlds, the animal world, the mineral world, and the vegetable world. Those are different worlds that exist on this whole world right now. You know what I mean? So if you do have a world, you're going to have different forms of existence within that world.
Right.
So then that led me to planets. I was like, well, what the hell is a planet? So a planet is a celestial body moving amongst fixed stars. A similar body revolving around a star other than the sun. And then I was like, oh, all of us are the center of the universe. We all have a soul, solar, sun. We all have a sun within us. So we are all fixed stars within this realm, you know what I'm saying? And everything else can be considered a planetary celestial body. You know what I mean? And stars are also celestial bodies. So I took it from planets to planes, like a plane of existence, but that the only thing I came across that really struck a chord with me was the fact that a plane is flat or level surface. And then one book that I was reading a long time ago, it described the planes of existence as pages of a book. And pages of a book, the letters don't bleed from one page to the other, even though they're right on top of each other, right?
Right.
And with the right lens, with the right ability, you can read something that's upside down, backwards, reverse. So the planes of existence are different levels of existence that you can exist on. And again, going back to planets and worlds, there's different elements on that planet. You on whatever plane you're on, you have different levels of existence on that particular plane. And there's a vast number of planes to exist on.
Right.
And then that took me to dimensions, because I was like, well, if they're talking about plane on the mathematical side, then it talks about dimensions. And the dimension is a property of space measurable under set degrees. You know what I mean? So dimensions are defined in a certain way, and all these things help to create, worlds. And those are the hard definitions of it. But if we're going to slide into some more epic ways of looking at shit, when you had called me earlier this week and we was talking about your daughter and how all the influences, and we was talking about how everybody is a combination or amalgamation of the different influences that we meet from different people. Right. The influence we take, the things we like form the things, the things we like come from the things that we sense and create the things that we want. And those things that we want could either be the person that you want to be or the car you want to drive. All of those things influence you. And I was thinking about how heavy propaganda and influence can be on somebody. Like you was talking to your daughter, you're influencing her in a way to where you're creating a world for yourself where you have a well-behaved daughter, but also you're helping her by showing her the principles or the formulas. Because to create a new world, you have to have a form of measurement. That's where we go back to planes being a level surface, dimensions being a set degrees of measurement within that world. So to create a new world, you have to have a form of measurement in that space. And how do you measure in that space? You measure by your principles. Principles are a formula. Principles are the laws of nature, are mathematical thoughts, mathematical formulas. You know what I mean? And then that led me to time. How do you measure time? Because if water is the atmosphere of the internal body, air is the atmosphere of the external body, time is the atmosphere of the mind. So I was like, what is time? So I had to look up the formula of time. Now, in a book I read a long time ago called Time in the Technosphere, he had one definition of time that I'll get to. But when you look up time, the formula for it is time equals distance divided by speed. But in that book, Time in the Technosphere, Jose Aguilar had done a lot of deep research, and he had a new equation for time. Time is time multiplied by energy equals art. So go back to the definition of worlds, right? Go back to the definition of worlds right here. Let me see. Where it says something about art or create. My bad.
Right. That's what I was just about to get at you with. I was about to say, if you go back to create,
that's where it had
to art. Right.
So everything you do, every breath you take, if it takes time to do it, it's art. Therefore, it's creation itself. Tying your shoes, teaching somebody to tie their shoes, getting to work on time, whatever it is that you're doing, that is creation.
Right.
Because it didn't happen before you did it. Right. And how are you saying that this is important to do? By your principles. To create a new world, you have to have a form of measurement in that space.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. You have to have some parameters. You have to have some some way of some canvas to apply this artwork to.
That's what I'm saying. And I was like, we have to learn enough to stand on.
Right.
In the worlds that we create and in the worlds that's already created for us that we can go exist in. Right. You know?
Right.
And you have to be willing to learn in order to do that. I came across this quote. It says, a little learning is a dangerous thing. Drink deep or taste not the Pyrean spring. So I was like, what is a Pyrean spring? So pyri, meaning fire. So the flaming spring, which is a metaphorical source of knowledge and art. So I'm like, oh, all of this, what's undefined, you can call it quantum physics, you can call it art, because the artist always perceives something different than everybody else. You know, he's an artist, you know, he can see how to start the lines. Have you ever seen someone like actually draw a portrait or a picture or something? It doesn't even seem like that's what it's gonna be until they done with it. You be like, damn, I didn't even know that's what you was making. Right. You know, because the artist, you know, if you're so inclined to, the artist sees things a little bit differently. You know, not to say that somebody who isn't an artist can't potentially have this capability or even develop it within themselves, because we are an amalgamation of all the things that we come across and people we meet. You might meet somebody that helps form you into that, but that's what you're going to perceive. It's going to be the art that comes of it.
Right. Like they say that your life is your artwork.
Right. You know it.
Right.
And getting back to what you were saying about creation with the male and the female, I wrote down, you are the four elements. Fire is the soul that burns within you. You know, the sun itself. Your flesh is the earth. You breathe air, you exist in air, and water is going to be the medium of creation.
Right.
Because you have to move within, you have to be water. Remember how Bruce Lee was like, be water, my friend.
Right.
That was a deeper statement than just being water. How the hell are you going to be water? You can't be water, but be like water. You know what I mean?
And water is, like you said, water is an element of creation.
Exactly. It's a medium, the medium of creation. Because how else you got to have you have to have a form of to be able to connect. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, man.
So now with that, like you saying right there, here we go with this. We're gonna start light with what you're saying. So if I say, based on just living and being within this world and a planet, or these things are similar in nature as our creation and that creation. So when we saying a person got so many different things and they're a world, so you have to say, when you were saying like we saying you making a child a well-behaved or this, that, and the third, and all the influences that come into play. So let me give you the vision. A planet, or this planet, which is the one we are manufactured after. We are molded after this planet, who we are. Like our hair is grass, trees, right? Same thing. You know what I'm saying? You're full of fluid, your body, your stomach, this is fluid. These is oceans, right? You know, mountains, legs, toes, nose, this is a mountain. You understand? So when you saying all of these things that make a person or influence them, it's the same as saying you got a desert in you. That's your heat. That maybe you could consider that your anger.
Right.
You got so you got to know how to have all this coexist within you. You got a cold, you got a polar region. You see what I'm saying? Like when people be playing basketball, people say, oh, he got ice water in his veins. He cool, he calm, he cool under pressure, right? You got all of these different climates within you. Now we could transcribe them and say it's emotions and this, that, and the third, but it's the same. A lot of times when people start talking about the weather or something, they say, oh man, it's temperamental out there. You know what I'm saying? But that's the same as saying you're temperamental.
Mm.
You have a temper. You get what I'm saying? Like it's fluctuating, right? But the world is fluctuating because we are as above, so below, right?
Mm.
Like
Yeah,
you're saying, the celestial body above me is planet Earth.
right.
Like we want to look into the stars, we want to look into the cosmos, but the next level to me is a planet. The earth is alive because how could I be alive if I come from the earth? If the earth is not alive, it can't give life. It can't support life.
Man.
You see what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
so if the next step up from me is to be a planet, but I don't have to be a planet in my next form because I am a planet in this form. I have to see similarities between me and this planet that I'm on. Right. I can only, it's like saying a wolf don't come from a squirrel.
Dig it.
Right? So if I came from this planet, I gotta be a planet too.
Exactly right.
You see what I'm saying? So all like you were saying, all of my influences are the same as the seasons, are the same as the different temperatures and climates on the planet. They make the whole planet.
In that book, Time in the Technosphere, it's described as the humans are within the envelope of the earth. We exist in the noosphere. So basically, the humans are the cells of the earth. As we live on the earth, we're the cells of the earth. Now, every human don't do the same thing, just like every cell in your body don't do the same thing, but there are similar cells, just like there are similar humans. But we exist at all levels around this motherfucker. You got Tibetans, you got Chinese, you got blacks, you got all these different ones that help create the earth.
Look what you're saying, right? So now we take it micro again on a as above, so below level. I got multicellular community. That's my arm. That's my leg. That's my, you get what I'm saying? That's my head. That's this, right? But the same is in the world. It's a multicellular community we call China. They all function similar. Like all the things that is in my leg they function similarly.
Right.
All of the people, all of the cells in Europe function similarly. They speak a common language for the most part. You get what I'm saying? In Russia,
it's seven continents. It's 7 continents and it's 7 major chakras, bro.
Man,
run with
it. Talk about it. You see what I'm saying?
What I'm saying?
So that's the same as above, so below. So my next level, which is not my next level, but if we're going to see it and we're going to perceive it, the next thing up from me is the planet. But it's not up from me, it is me. I am the planet. Or I can go up again another level and be the same as the universe, because if you look like how they show those pictures, you look in somebody's eyes, it looks the same as the universe. We're not going that far up. We're going to stay planetary, but it's the same. So for this level up, we're saying we're looking at the planet and everything that come with the planet is the same. But be like, man, bro, man, they had me hot, right? They had me hot, bro. Right? So what's that's the same as saying, bro, I was hot as the Mojave out there, bro. You understand? I was finna do something, right? Oh man, look, bro. I had to cool off, bro. I'm cooler than a polar bear's toenail right now, right? Same thing. So we have to see those things and understand that those are planetary references, but those are also personal references. Those are us. We talking about the planet, you're talking about yourself. You see
and think about it this way: if you're gonna connect it like that, if you have all of these different regions, you have Hindu, you have Chinese, you have Africans, you have American blacks, you got all these different regions, right? Everybody has their own religion. Therefore, like he was talking about the creator earlier, some people say the creator, some people say God, some people, whatever you want to designate that as. But really, the closest thing you ever know to God or the creator is the voice inside your own head. And then and there's in esoteric Christianity, there's a saying. It says, if you say heaven is in the sky, then the birds are going to get there before you.
Right.
If you say heaven is down low, then the dog gonna get there before you. Right.
The earthworm got
heaven,
access to it first.
Yeah, but if you say heaven is within, then you walk around with that knowledge that the heaven that is within you is the universe. It is all of that. You know what I mean? Because
That's what I'm saying.
everything outside of you is a hologram. Like Michael Talbot's holographic universe. Everything outside of you is just a hologram. It's an illusion that's presenting to you what you expect to see. And then if you take it a little bit step further, how do you create the world that you want to be in? First, it starts off with what you wear, how you present yourself to the world. You know what I mean? Because that's going to give you a platform to move from. You know, that's why they be like, oh, the naked is the day he was born. Well, you weren't anything the day you were born. You had to be told what you were. You know what I mean? Just like everything is given to you. Like we was talking about, we're an amalgamation of all the little things that we see from others. You know what I'm saying? You know, different sayings that we catch from people. You know, like you'll be like, you bagging what I'm raking. I was like, I like that. I'm gonna have to take that from you. You know what I'm saying? I had another partner of mine he'd be like, in that order. I'll be like, oh yeah, I like that. I'm gonna have to take that. So we're gonna take all the things that we happen to like, because everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what kind of cologne is that you wearing, man? I'm gonna have to get me some of, all these things are little nuanced, little subtleties, right? And the subtleties are where we come from. The subtleties are the thoughts. The subtleties are the ideas. Remember how we talked about the anatomy of an idea? You know, first you got the motion of the thought itself, and then the friction, and then the heat, and then the light that's created from the heat. So we're all these little fragmented ideas that come together, and we're constantly changing, because this is the place of change. This is the place of transmutation. You know what I mean? History never forgets. So we're constantly changing, and we are the primal materia, or the clay. Remember we was talking about last time. So we're always constantly adding to our clay to get to that final form. But you know what? We're never going to reach that final form, because even as we get into our older years, like in that movie you was watching, something's gonna surprise you. At 78, it's nothing. Something's gonna surprise you at 78. You ain't seen it all. You know what I'm saying?
Look, that's what I'm saying. You gotta think about it. So okay, let's go up and down with that, macro, micro. If we know that as people, right? There's developments that we're gonna have for ourselves, right? And then we say, well, we know that the earth is alive, because if the earth is not alive, it can't give life or support life. Like the moon, right? It's just not producing any life. It's not alive, right? So when we say that, and we saying, well, my life is changing, I'm growing, I'm developing, I'm learning things, I'm moving on. You don't think the earth is doing that?
Man, you know it.
You don't think the earth has got an agenda for itself? Right. You understand me? So if I say, man, we always saying this stuff when when everybody getting their mind right, man, I'm ready to transition to a different phrase. I'm ready to do that. You don't think the earth got an agenda for itself?
Right.
Maybe
you know what they always say?
Yeah.
Maybe it ain't checkers.
Right. Maybe the earth want to be a sun.
Right.
Maybe the earth want to, you understand me? Maybe the earth want to be a black hole. Like we looking at TV, we watching football players, basketball players, we watching what we call stars. We want to emulate the stars. So how do you know the earth ain't looking at? The earth can see a nebula. The earth can see a galaxy, and it's like he got dreams. It's I don't want to give it a designation. It's got dreams.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Well, if I got dreams, right? Because we always talk about ourselves, right? But if we gonna truly be conscious of something, then we got to be conscious of the earth. The earth got its own ideas too.
Yeah, we gotta understand the psychology of this whole thing. Because like I was saying, like some people, it's just like chess. Some people is 2 moves ahead. Some people is 12 moves ahead.
Right.
We all playing the same game, and
Think about it.
nothing.
Think about it. How far the earth is ahead of us for it to provide the opportunity for us to come out of it.
Right.
So
Yep.
so when they carbon date something and they say it's 1 billion years or this is thousands and thousands of years, if I'm a planet or I have all the attributes of one, then this planet, you understand me, it's got something that it's trying to do, something it's trying to transition into, something it's trying to become. And we're saying that to say, you understand me, that's the magnitude of how you should approach your reality.
And that's going to be the foundation, because you have to, like, the foundation for the creation. You know what I mean? Because there's different ways to get to the creation. The universe, if you're going to take it off the planet, let's say the planet want to graduate to nebulas and all this other stuff, but really the planet is it's nothing compared to who we are. We are the planets too.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Let's say
that's exactly what I'm saying.
If we want to go to higher realms and higher understandings and higher existences, then let's say if we want to be the universe, what does universe mean? Universe means one song. Right. It means a harmonious synthesizing of all the things that would make a planet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's and what is one song? A song is music. Music is metaphysical inspiration. It's a creation. It's music. Music is the muse. A muse is the inspiration. Right. It's what inspires you. And what is inspiration necessary for? It's necessary for creation, for understanding of something else. That's why you can listen to music and you can go off into your imagination and start thinking about all types of stuff. And imagination is right there in the definition of create. It's going to take a thought or an imagination, and that evolves from one's own thoughts and imagination.
Right.
So you have to give yourself the tools that you need in order to create. Right. Just like I said, whenever you step out the house, you presenting the world with something that you've created. Right. Let's say you want to have a fly car. You know what I mean? You want to look clean and decent when you step out the house. That's step number one. Once you got that, then now you're presenting something to all these other stars and all these other suns that's out there. Because if you're a sun, everything you see is what you're shining on, is what your light is shining on. You know what I mean? And that shining of light reflects back to you. And you can choose to absorb that and turn it into something that you want. You know what I'm saying? Because if we're the cells of the planet, then the cells within our body are the cells of our planet. So you have to feed those cells the proper things, man. And it all goes back to thoughts and thinking the proper thoughts. Because when you shed your physical body, you keep your consciousness with you, bro. It's not just a blank slate and you forget everything. No. It's none of that, bro. It's really none of that. I was reading in this book. Matter of fact, I just finished it. C.W. Ledbetters, The Astral Planes, Its Inhabitants, and Phenomena. And in that book, it talks about going to the astral planes. You know, like if you go into sleep, you can do the lucid dreaming, and you can do the astral plane visitations, where you go visit these astral planes. And whereas a normal person might wake up from and be like, man, that was a wild dream. But a person who's trained in these understandings understands that when things get on different planes, they exist in different forms, the mineral form or the elemental form. It's a combination of all these different things. So it might look bizarre, but really it's just a combination of things that you're creating. You're creating. You're not insane. It's coming from your mind. You know what I mean?
Right. And this is what I'm saying. Along those lines, it's the same as, we know to create based on the things that we see around us, right?
Yes.
So how do we step our ability to create up, right?
We got to have tools.
Right. And here's what I'm saying. We'll go small, we'll go micro, and then we'll go macro with this right now.
All right.
Right, we'll go small. When I say I want to be like somebody, like you say, you're picking up things from people. I say, damn, man, OG right there, he's smooth. I like his style. You know what? I'm gonna pick up that right there. I'm gonna pick up the way he dressed. I'm gonna pick up the way he talked. I'm gonna pick up this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, look, homeboy right there. I like his yoke, man. He got his yoke on, man. You know what? Let me pick up some workout tips from him. You get what I'm saying? Oh,
Yeah.
man, you know what? This person over here, man. This person's smart, man. They let me pick up some knowledges from them, right?
Right.
And you aspire to be these stars to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
You
then,
can even do that. You can even do that by you can go to a art gallery and look at some beautiful art and be inspired the same way. You can
right,
go to a theme park and ride a
right,
roller coaster and be
right,
inspired the same way.
right,
These different
right.
things, you know, not necessarily just from a person, but also just on a
Yeah,
walk through the woods or through
right.
a
This
field
is
or
what I'm
something.
about to get to. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, dig it.
So,
Okay.
so from the physical point, you can do that, right? But then how do I go to a higher level? Now I can look at my bigger influences. I can be inspired by the planet and say, man, the planet is amongst all these other celestial bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Get what I'm saying? Because the
Right,
planet
right.
is an example for how to be. If I want to be bigger than my surroundings and my limitations, then I have to stop, because that's what I'm saying. When I'm thinking physically, I'm thinking I want to be like this person. I want to be more like that person, right? But if I want to be even bigger than that, I want to be like the planet. Because the planet is here, it's got its own agenda, but it's also providing the ability for all of us to live as well. So
Mm-hmm.
its agenda is so massive that it's allowed life to function within its progression. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Its aspiration is so monolithic. Its aspiration is so massive that we've created a whole environment within its evolution.
Right, right.
You
That's
get what I'm
true.
saying? So
Mm-hmm.
but look, now the universe or the galaxy's evolution is so massive that the planet is here and it's got its plan in action, but it's within the galaxy. And the galaxy may want to be a universe. So
Dig
these
it
are
like this.
also these are also these are also our examples as well. These not just like you're saying, not just people are our examples, but the earth and the planet and the suns, and these are our bigger brothers and sisters too.
Yeah, it's said that man is the perfecting agent of God. We are the right hand of God. If not, we made in his image, right?
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, we're here to do the work. So the planet is there for us to utilize it.
Mm-hmm.
It's there to be used, but it has laws and natural laws that
It's
you know a lot of
it's
people
an
break and go
example.
around.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
saying. It's
You're
an
there.
example.
It gives us life because we exist here on it, but we give the planet life by perceiving it. You
Right.
know what I mean? Like
Right.
there's nothing outside of you. You are the fucking center of the universe.
Right.
Every fucking person.
Right.
So yeah, you use that shit as a tool for you to
Right. This
realize
is
your
what I'm
true
saying.
godhood.
This is what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. We looking at people and we can say that's what I'm saying, on a small level, on just the
I'm
physical
with you.
level. Because that's
I'm
what I'm
with
saying.
you.
I'm giving it three-dimensional, right? I'm giving
Yeah.
it the physical aspect, which is saying, I want to be like Mike.
Right.
I want to be like Mike, Jackson, Jordan, Tyson, as they say, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
aspire to be like that, right? But then let's say I want to go to a higher level, right? A more celestial level. When you transition, you got higher aspirations. Now that's planetary, right?
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? So these
I'm
are,
with you.
like you're saying, use the planet as an example for what you can be.
So dig it like this. Going back to
Yeah.
what we said earlier,
Yeah.
when you want to create something, you
Right.
have to have a form of measurement within that space.
Right.
The
Right.
laws of nature
Right.
themselves, the laws of nature themselves, the law of gravity, the law of fucking evolution, all of
Right.
these things are mathematical equations. They're
Right.
agreements. So in
Right.
order for you as an individual to create worlds for yourself, you have to have perfected principles that you govern yourself by.
Right.
And when you govern yourself by these principles, you will not even hang out with the same people. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Because you're going to become perfectly disciplined in how you want to introduce yourself to the world. You know, the first thing, how you introduce yourself to the world is how you present yourself to the world. So maybe even just changing how you dress. I had a partner of mine, dope boy, grinding for years. All of a sudden, this nigga got on hard bottom shoes and ties. He a dope boy. He used to wear ball caps and tennis shoes. You feel me? So when he changed his whole style, it could put people off. But I didn't know him since elementary school. So, you know, that's my dog. But other people, you probably would put them off because now you're changing the principles in which you want the world to come to you. You know what I mean? So that's how you create a new world, by changing your measurement of the world around you and how you function in that shit.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. So if I started out this saying I want to be like Mike is training wheels. You understand?
Exactly.
Me?
Exactly.
Those is training wheels. Then I want to be like the planet. Right? Because if they say people hating on you, people want to do this, people want to do that, because they can only hate on what they know.
Right.
They never came across somebody want to be a planet.
Right. Or really, you already are a planet. You just need to acknowledge it.
I'm just speaking in the terms of doing it.
Yeah, yeah, you own it.
You know what I'm saying? So you never came across, like you saying, well, I knew, you know, a dope boy from that, but you don't know one that wears the hard bottoms and tailored suits.
You know,
so you don't even know how to approach that.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So think about it. You go from emulating this, what's around you, to now you emulating, how can I be more planetary? How can I be more intergalactic? How do you know how to approach that? You would be mesmerized, but guess what? It's not that you would be, it's that's like you saying, that's what you are. If you started, you already a planet. You're imitating another man, but you're a planet. You can imitate the planet.
Yeah, you got to realize that. You got to realize yourself. You got to know thyself.
Right. You can emulate the planet. And like I'm saying, well, how would you emulate the planet? By giving so much love, whether you being damaged or not, you still giving love. What we blow we dump stuff in the ocean. We blow up bombs, we fight wars, we do all that, and the earth's still there.
But it's under, you know, you exactly right. And there's so much that comes back to the thought forms. That comes back to the thought forms, because when you think about something greatly, it collects on an unseen level, unless you psychic, it collects all of these particles and these elementals, and it turns into an entity. That's where it comes from, creation. So when you thinking all bad, or when they trying to feed us all this negative propaganda in the news and shit, they're projecting thought forms onto each and every person. And these things actually have a function, because they are given power. Once you think of something, it goes off into its own existence, bro. It literally does. Any thought that you have. So if you fucking with somebody, you be like, man, I hate this motherfucker. I wish this nigga would get sick. No matter, depending on how hard you think about it, that motherfucker will get sick. Depending on how hard you think about it. And if you focus, they had this one story about this man. He was in Persia, and he had a young son, and his young son went off to war, and his young son got killed in that war. And he had so much sorrow and so much grief that he wanted his soul to live on forever, to never let his family go through this again, and to grieve for his son. And he the rest of his life, he meditated on that shit so hard. He created a thought form that probably still exists to this day, because he poured his whole entire soul into this thought about he didn't want nobody in his family to die like that again. And he didn't want the youth to be taken away from his family, because his young son was vibrant in his life and shit. So just like I sent the affirmation out, you know what I mean? I sent an affirmation out that I am grateful, I'm healthy, I am wealthy, I am wise, and I'm here to help others be the same. If everybody's saying that, that's going to create the thought form that's attached to all of us and to whoever we projecting that on. This is how we create things, by seeing what's lacking in the world, or seeing what could be filled and filling it, whatever it might be. Now, you just like somebody be like, oh, I'm clumsy. I'm a clumsy ass person. Nigga, that's creating that thought form, and that thought form is going to follow you. Or you could wish something bad on somebody. And check this out. When you wishing bad things on people, if that person is walking in the right light, staying humble, being the person that they are, whatever you try to project on them is gonna be like that old saying, I'm rubber, you're glue. That entity, no matter how strong you make it, is gonna go try to fuck with that person that you projecting it on. Now, if he got a chink in his armor, if he or she got a chink in their armor, then it might be able to seep in there and cause what you want it to cause. But if not, that's gonna come back to you. It'll be like, hey man, you sent me up the block, wasn't nothing popping off. What's going on with you? And if you got a chink in your armor, it's gonna eat away at you. Just like in them old movies where the wizard or the warlock be conjuring up a bunch of spirits, and in the end they come back and tear his ass apart.
Right.
It's the same thing, man. Your thoughts are very, very, very powerful. And again, when you die, the idea of death being a universal leveler is absurd. It comes from a place of ignorance, because the physical body makes no difference. Your character, your intellect, none of that. Because when you die, all you're doing is shedding the physical body. You still gonna be that same, or you still gonna be that same person, but you're just not gonna have a physical body. So it might take you a little. It's like that movie Sixth Sense. Remember when the dude was dead, but he didn't know he was dead because he died in such a quick way? If you don't die from disease or something that you expect to happen, let's say if you die in a car wreck or somebody run up on you on a bad night and you die like that, then you would be shocked into death. And it might take you a little while to get oriented, but you still the same person, bro. You don't lose your ideas and thoughts. All you do is mesh together all your past lives and all the past worlds that you've existed in, and then that's all it does. It meshes together in the metempsychosis,
right?
You know, or the karma loka, the elemental worlds, the astral realms, the places where you're gonna go and in death, and then from that you're gonna go to that place to learn what you need to learn, and then you graduate on to the heaven realm, and it's higher realms even within that. So when you go to the heaven realm, it's gonna be levels there too. It's 7 levels on every plane. And if a plane is like a book with 100 pages, no page bleeds onto the other page. You're not gonna have words bleeding onto each other. And the higher levels you go, you can only go down into lower levels. You cannot go up into higher levels. So let's say if you get to a higher level, you can go down and manifest yourself on the lower levels. That's why some people see ghosts, or some people see entities or these types of things that happen around them. That's something from a different plane, not necessarily a heaven plane or a God realm, just some other person that's then shedded their physical body, and you might be in tune enough to channel that. You know what I mean?
Right. I got you. So this, like I'm saying, right? So with that being said, you see what I'm saying? If I'm giving practical ability, right?
Right.
If I can aspire to be a planet, even though I'm already the planet, right? That could be my example to look at myself and be more planet-like.
That's an excellent example, bro, because I use that same thing for myself. I'll be like, I got to take care of my heart and my lungs, and I got to feed them some water today. I got to keep the engine oiled. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking to myself.
Okay. So here's what I'm saying. Now, when we go to the next level, which is the more spiritual level, we say, now, how do we see that world? We see that world through those things which we understand to be what? Electricity, magnetic fields,
gases.
You get what I'm saying?
Plasma.
Right. Now,
it won't be the physical body.
Right. How can I be more magnetic?
Exactly. You own it, black man.
Right. How can I be more electrifying? Because these elements are going to precede me to that level, right? My first level, which is my physical level, is how I can be like Mike, right?
Yeah, physically in shape.
Right,
working on your singing skills.
Right.
You know what
now, my mental level is how can I be more planetary?
Right.
Because that's the next level up for me. Now, my spiritual level is how can I be more magnetic? How can I be more electromagnet? How can I be more attractive? How can You understand what I'm saying? So
how can I transmute?
Right. You know these are my higher levels of how do I do this practically. So now I could look at I could study magnets. I could study electricity and say, how can I be more electric? How? Well, what do we know about electricity? Like you said earlier, what's water? Be like water. So Bruce Lee said that on a physical level. There's a spiritual level. right? So the spiritual level is, how can I be more? So if I'm more like water, by default, I'm more electricity conducive. I'm more conducive to electric current, right?
Yes.
So if I become more like water, I'm more of a conduit for electricity, right?
And even and that's why they say even the higher dimensions and the higher planes of existence, we can't know that because we can't put it into words. Because if we exist right here as a physical body, we breathe air, you know, the four basic elements, the four core elements. When you get to the higher level, it's more shit. Now you're gaseous phases, plasmic phases, electromagnetic phases. Then when you get to the highest level, what's the other form of measurement in those levels? We don't know yet.
Exactly.
We can't touch that with a 10-foot pole right there. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But on our lowest level, how in my complete physical form can I even, like, I'm gonna say how can I even taste these waters?
Yeah, man. Hell yeah. Drink
how
deep
can I even taste them is how I can be more electric, how I can be more magnetic, how I can be more like so when you get these Tao principles or these principles of what they call Eastern philosophy or whatever, but when you get into these, they speak in these terms.
Exactly, man. Because again, when you die and shed the physical body, you do not forget everything. You're gonna be magnified in the sense that everything that you ever known will be there at one time. And what confuses people about dreams and stuff like that is that the molecular structure of the dream, or the elemental structure of the dream, is you can see everything at once because you're projecting it inside your own mind, or you're projecting it on that plane. So not only do you see the person's face, but unbeknownst to you, you can see three-dimensional around that person. Can you imagine? A camera cannot show you this because a camera has two faces, a convex lens and a concave lens. So you can't imagine being able to see the front of a person, the back of a person, the inside of a person, seeing through a person. You can't imagine that, but that's how you are perceiving it. But when you get up on those planes, let's say you go to sleep, you're going to relegate it down to your human form of understanding. So even though with the right twist of the knob, you'll be able to see how I'm telling you you can see, but you're going to say, oh, that's too much for me, man. I'm just going to look at them like I normally look at them. And you'll be in your proper projection of yourself. Maybe you might be a little bit more physically fit, or maybe whatever you're going to see yourself as in the dream. But literally, if you train yourself, we need to get into that. If you train yourself on how to perceive this, you will be able to perceive every element within that astral projection, because these are just astral projections. When I go on the dream realm, I used to tell my moms and people that I care about, my girl, whatever, like, hey, I'll see you in the dream world. You know, if I'm talking to you, it's late, I'm about to go to sleep, you know, I see you in the dream world. And I'm literally, these is different methods you could do to introduce yourself to these planes of existence, man. I had this, I was telling my mom, my grandmother had passed away, and I was like, you know what you do? You know what you do if you got any unresolved issues, and you know, she mourns how she mourns. She really didn't mourn like that in the beginning. It took her a whole year to come into that mourning. But really, you got to look at it like, you know, my grandmother graduated, man, you know, but people don't have an understanding of that, and they do what they do. So I was like, look what you do. Go see it, go to sleep, but don't fall asleep. Go to sleep. When you go to sleep, go to her house. Go to her house. Go in the house. If you want, what you need to do is knock on the door first and imagine her coming to the door, however you want to see her, come to the door and open the door for you. And when you go in the house, turn around, close the door, and lock it. And when you do that, this is a form of meditation. When you do that, now you there with her, and you can address whatever issues you want to address. You can have whatever conversations you want to have. Now, to some people, that might be scary, because when you really are concentrating on that, you in the astral realm now, you in the projection realm, and now you might see things through those astral eyes, and you be like, oh, it's too much, it's crazy. It's a cat with a snake body riding on a bicycle, and you might see all of these different things that you have to interpret. And it comes down to symbolism. You got to study symbols, because symbols help you translate what you need, you know. And you can't just necessarily Google the images that you see in your dreams. You have to do a personal internal Google. You be like, what does this mean to me? You know, but that takes work. And you guess what? Work creates worlds. You know what I'm saying? It takes work to do that. But there's all types of forms of meditation that you need to try to invest in to help you create these worlds in a way, because like I said, whenever we pass, whenever we go to sleep, sleep is the cousin of death. Whenever we go to sleep, or whenever we literally pass, or you have friends or somebody, a family that passed, and you want to communicate on these different levels, you have to know how to do it. You have to train yourself on these different techniques on how to do it. It might seem scary to some, but you really got to, if you listening to this, you're not blocked by all the conventional barriers that's in your way right now. You're not blocked by that if you listening to this, because we talking about quantum maintenance right now.
Right.
So if you want to go in there and do that maintenance and turn them wrenches and really better yourself, and necessarily not even better yourself, but allow yourself to expand,
right,
then you can use these methodologies to do that. You know what I mean? And it's no knock on you. This is a personal journey. You know what I mean? And you're born alone, you die alone, all the other cliches that they say, but it's definitely powerful things that need to be done. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna have to introduce yourself into where you're going.
Well,
you know what I mean? You're not going down, you're going up.
Well, let me apply that on a strictly physical level, right? If we're gonna say that dying is the graduation,
dig it,
then however old you are, I'm 40, right? So I done had 40 years of pre-graduation ceremonies. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I'm with you.
I done had thousands of pre-graduate ceremonies. You understand me?
Pop quizzes.
Which you call, look, daydream is a pop quiz.
You know,
you take a nap in the middle of the day. That's a rehearsal.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? So you already accustomed to doing it. It's just now you come to a point to where you're letting an idea separate you from that which you know to be true, because not only you saying what death is graduation and we say all of that, but sometimes you just say, man, I just tired, I want to go to sleep. How could you want to go to death? That overrides your fear.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You had a long day, man, I just want to go to sleep. So that doesn't override your fear of death.
Right. Uh-huh.
Right. So it's the same. You could say, man, I had a long life.
True.
I've lived a specific life. You understand me? And I'm not saying it from the standpoint of saying you trying to get out of here. I'm saying you trying to get comfortable with the next level of evolution personally.
And a lot of older people do be saying that, I've lived a good life. They come to these and don't get me wrong. I'm not chasing, I'm not a goth or anything like that, but I am acknowledging that, I mean, even before all of this, man, they have to generate fear, because fear makes thought forms. So if you're afraid of your own death, the pain, or I don't want to, this and that, there's all type of fucking stigmas that's tied around it. But let's say, you have to introduce yourself to the dog. If you scared of dogs and so your best friend come around with a dog, you got to let the dog smell you a little bit. You got to introduce yourself to the dog so you're no longer afraid of it.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Because that fear is going to stick around you like one of them harboring entities. Okay, you got a bunch of them chasing your ass.
This is what I'm saying. So instead of seeing it as the big death, you can see that you had a lifetime full of rehearsals.
Yeah.
That could soften the blow of even thinking about it.
Right, because you gotta soften the blow, man. Because that's the graduation, bro. That's who you.
Right.
This is a limited time only thing right here, man. Who the hell want to live forever?
Right. So
you got tattoos. Them bitches looking long than the motherfucker.
Right.
You earning the right to get the fuck up out of here. You wake up pissing and shit every day. You got to pay the mortgage. Like, I mean, damn, dude, is this what the fuck it is?
Right.
I mean, literally, mate.
Right.
Literally.
This is what I'm saying. But this gives you the ability to become accustomed. This gives you the opportunity to become accustomed to, tampering with that which is.
And think about how powerful that is, because you knowing that you could become an inspiration to somebody who ain't even thinking about this.
Right.
You could become a consolation and an inspiration to somebody who, a child, you know, I'm not telling kids this to that degree.
Right.
I'm subtly bringing it on. I'm using nuance because that's my capability, because I'm older and I understand how to word things, and I want people to become comfortable with me and comfortable with what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to scare you off, because that ain't who I am.
That's not what I'm doing. I'm telling you,
humble. Exactly.
This is still in front of you. So,
exactly, man.
So if death and the big sleep is the same thing, then every night is a rehearsal. It's a dress rehearsal.
All right. That's it, man.
Every night is a peek into the beyond.
Into the beyond. It's a chance for you to do what you, because the more adept you get at.
As they say, remote viewership, right?
Exactly. I'm telling you, we're gonna tap into that. We're gonna tap into the remote viewing. We're gonna tap into the astral projection, the lucid dreaming.
The opportunity, right? You got the opportunity to observe.
Right. Exactly. Right. And you can't squander that. You can't squander that. You know.
But you have to first, like you saying, you have to first get your mind in the condition to accept that this is what's happening. This is, you don't have to see it this way, but this is a way for you to see it when you need to see it this way.
Right.
If you don't have the years and years of how do we say it? Not indoctrination, but years and years of institution, of initiation, of all of these degrees of higher.
Look what I was telling my lady. I was like, if death is like a graduation, everybody can't be valedictorian. You're gonna have some people that barely scrape by. Some
this is exactly what I'm getting at. If you don't have all these years of I'm saying initiation, but all of these schools of mystery.
That's good. Initiation is good.
Yeah, these different degrees of knowledge, of thinking beyond. You still in the school. You're still in the school. So you don't have to necessarily be the valedictorian.
Because we all going up.
Right. So like you're saying, so somebody who may be in deeper into mysticism, or deeper into esoteric information, or
maybe they religion. You know, however you come to these higher thoughts, that's fine.
This is what I'm saying. It's people who are deeper. Those would be your valedictorian. Those would be your magna cum laude. Those would be these people. But some of us may just be, you know what I'm saying, hanging out back on the side street, smoking a blunt, and then we run in and do the last few tests right before graduation, and we still get to graduate. But
everybody graduating.
Exactly. Right. But either way, you're going to graduate.
Yeah. And just like I said,
even if you end up staying back a few grades, you're going to get to the end. So you may not get to the point to where you can walk through walls, but physically you could figure out a way to get through that wall. That's enough to pass the class.
Exactly. And there's nothing, all the books that I've read, and from people that were more well read than I am, have discussed, there's no such thing as hell or purgatory. It's only the purgatory that you create for yourself. Right. Think about this. I don't know if you ever seen this movie. It's called What Dreams May Come. Right. It's a very good movie because it deals with this idea. It's got Robin Williams in it, and it's got Cuba Gooding Jr. in there. And Robin Williams, he died, right? And when he died, he and his wife used to love this painting. And I don't want to give the whole story away, but in essence, he created the world that he wanted to live in, and he went to go live in that world in his afterlife. But this was just a training ground for him, a stepping stone, because it wasn't the final. There is no final place that you're going to be. You're going to constantly graduate up, go up to the next level, the higher vibrations, because it's all about frequencies. So you're going to always go up to higher frequencies. You can slow your frequency down and come down to lower frequencies and have influence on those lower frequencies, but you are always going to go up to higher frequencies until you're just an irradiated light beam. Look, you know what I mean?
This is what I'm saying. So like that goes back to our initial, right? where we say you could be physically, be like Mike, or you could be the planet. Or when you go from the planet, you could be the universe, right?
Right.
But
Mm-hmm.
but even when you then transform into the universe, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you transform into a universe, guess what's going to happen? You're going to see the multiverse.
Right.
So
But dig this what I was saying
I'm
about
just saying,
how
I'm
yeah.
saying this another, it'll be another level up to that. It's universe among universes.
Right. But listen,
Right?
when he died, his wife put herself in purgatory. It's nothing, you're not going to experience any hell that you don't create for yourself. The hell that you create for yourself, or the hell that they talk about, is the person whose consciousness is still weighed down by things that you never did in life, or things that you wish you had accomplished, or something you said to somebody you care about and it's still weighed on you. Those are the things that you end up circling around, sometimes for a few days, a few months, or even hundreds of years, trying to deal with whatever sciences that you never tackled when you was in the physical realm. That's the only hell that's created whenever you leave the physical body. We're not going to call it death. We're going to say leave the physical body, because your soul is eternal. Your soul is eternal, and your consciousness, which is separate from your soul, is also going to move forward as well too, because the consciousness is the vehicle or the medium in which the soul learns itself and knows itself. So never be afraid of going to hell or experiencing any type of hellish conditions, because that will never be. It's only going to be what you create for yourself. And in that turn, you can shed all of the things, all of these worries and all of these things that you would think to be hellish. You can shed that
Right.
before,
But
you know what I'm saying? And that's what your life should be. Your life
right.
should be
But look,
staying
like
humble
you're
and learning
saying,
to let go.
like you're saying. So we can take it even back to the beginning. Those hellish conditions are still a part of the earth, are still a part of your planet. They're still a part of of your world, right? So we know
Mm-hmm,
the
mm-hmm.
earth is the Sahara, and all of these inside of volcanoes are hellish conditions, but they're still within the parameters of the planet. So this hell that you're talking about, or these people perceive, is still a part of the existence.
Right. Until you
It's
work through
still,
that shit.
it's still, whether you work through it or not, that's still a part of the whole of the existence. It's
Right.
still just an aspect of it. It's not the whole entirety of the existence. Like, I've been to hell and back,
Yeah.
right? So if I've been there and came back, hell is still there.
Yeah.
I left it to go to somewhere else. So I don't have to experience hell again. I can experience something else. I can experience
Right.
a heaven, different heavens, seven. They say it's seven heavens, right? Or people use those terms, but then they're saying there's levels of hell too. Dante's
Yeah.
Inferno or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So these are different levels of hell. So it's not saying that it's gone, and it's not saying it's real. It's saying that it's all a part of your world, your planetary development, your planetary existence, your
Yeah.
celestial involvement. Because this is what I'm saying. So, okay, look at it like this. Our galaxy, it's got the planet Earth, boom. But then it's got a hellish planet like Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all within the being of our galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
So even on our planet Earth, we have deserts and this, that, and the third, right? And we got what do we call it? Polar ice caps and all of that, right? But within, so now when we go micro, macro, we go from the Earth, then we go to our solar system, right? And you got a planet like Earth, and then you got a hellish planet like Jupiter, right? Which is full of gas and all of this, right? Then you go closer to the sun, you got Mercury, right? Which is hot. It's just nothing, whatever. That's a desert planet. Mars is a desert planet. Then you go further out and you get to Neptune and Pluto. These are frozen planets. So this is the same temperament.
Right.
Right? This is the same temperament. So if we look at the planet as one thing, then we look at the solar system as the same thing, just spread out. But it's the
Yeah.
same elements, the exact same ones. You get what I'm saying? You
Oh
still
yeah.
you got a water planet. Then you got a frozen planet, which would be a polar cap. And then you got a desert planet, which would be like Mercury or Mars, right? And then you got, right? So when we say we go up to another level, we go be electrified, this, that, and the third, then we got a gaseous planet. So it's showing you all the different things. It's still within the celestial body of the galaxy.
On each plane is 7 forms of existence.
Right.
So just like on this plane, you got the mineral existence, the vegetable existence, the animal existence, the gaseous existence. You know, I can't name them all right now. My mind's spinning. But then when you go to every plane you go to, the astral plane has 7 forms of existence, and then the plane that's the Devashanic plane has 7 forms of existence. All these different planes. So even when you get there, just like we said, like everybody don't graduate at the top of the class, but everybody gonna get there. You don't have to worry about, did I do right? Have I sinned or anything like that? None of that stuff is relative only to you. If you feel like you sinned, then you're gonna put yourself in purgatory for that sin. Nobody's gonna do it for you, because the God that we know exists within us. You only, if you was living in India, you wouldn't call your God Jesus. You would call him something else. So the God that we know is what has been taught to us, and not to take away from anything that anybody's established and built their whole life on. Some people use their religion as the GPS to their life, and I'm not knocking that. All I'm saying is there's deeper mysteries that we are supposed to investigate about ourselves, about where we're going, where we came from, and why are we here.
Right. But with that being said, my guy, stand by your work.
Always on time.
Appreciate your help, brother.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Right on.